Have you ever wondered why some people who start with almost nothing end up building fortunes that last for generations, while others, even with opportunities, lose it all? Today, I'll share the gripping life story of one man who cracked the code, how to grow rich, and most importantly, how to stay rich. This isn't just a story, it's a journey filled with struggles, temptations, near disasters, and powerful lessons you can apply to your own life. Now let's dive into Daniel's world. Daniel wasn't born into wealth. In fact, his earliest memories were of his parents whispering late at night, worried about overdue bills. He lived in a modest home where every coin mattered. And even as a child, he would say to himself, I don't want to live like this forever. Fast forward years later, Daniel graduates from college. For the first time in his life, he lands a job in marketing. His paycheck feels like gold compared to his past. But here's where the story takes a twist. Because what Daniel does with that money separates him from almost everyone else around him. His colleagues, they splurged. New cars, exotic trips, shiny gadgets. The thrill of payday vanished as quickly as it came. Daniel felt the same temptation burning inside him, but then he remembered his parents' faces. Tired, stressed, always behind on bills. That memory was enough to spark a promise in his heart. I'll enjoy life, but I won't waste my chance. So while others lived big, Daniel lived small. He shared a tiny apartment with a friend, cooked simple meals, and saved at least 20% of every paycheck. It didn't feel like much, but month after month, the pile grew. At night, instead of scrolling endlessly or partying, he read books on finance, listened to podcasts, and soaked in everything he could about investing. Knowledge became his secret weapon. Then came the leap. Daniel decided to invest. He started small, low-cost indexed funds, a few shares in companies he actually understood. No wild gambling, no chasing rumors, just steady, patient choices. And with every paycheck, his portfolio inched higher. But just when things looked bright, the storm hit. A recession shook the economy. Overnight, the value of Daniel's investments crashed. His friends panicked, sold everything, and cried over their losses. Daniel almost joined them. Fear gripped him like iron chains. But then he remembered something he had read. Markets go up and down, but those who stay the course win in the long run. So instead of running, Daniel did the unthinkable. He held on and even invested more while prices were low. It wasn't easy. Every day felt like walking through fire. But years later, the market bounced back and Daniel's portfolio exploded. His patience had turned pain into profit. Meanwhile, those same colleagues who once mocked him, Many were drowning in debt, trapped by their flashy lifestyles. Daniel had quietly passed them by. But Daniel's story didn't stop at investing. With his growing confidence, he bought a small apartment and rented it out. The rent paid the mortgage, and the property value climbed. Next, he launched his own small marketing agency. At first, it nearly broke him. Long nights, almost no profits, endless doubts. But instead of spending on luxuries, he reinvested into his business. Slowly, his agency grew. Clients came, referrals spread. By his mid-30s, Daniel had 3 powerful income streams: his business, his investments, and rental properties. He was no longer just making money. Money was working for him. But here's the twist most people miss. Daniel knew that getting rich is one thing. Staying rich is another. And so he made rules for himself. Never spend more than half of his income on lifestyle. Always save and reinvest at least 20%. Keep an emergency fund big enough for a year of expenses. Never drown in unnecessary debt. And because he stayed disciplined, when another financial crisis hit years later, Daniel didn't panic. He was ready. While many struggled, Daniel stood firm, untouched by the storm. By his 40s, he was financially free. He could travel, choose projects out of passion, and spend precious time with family. But Daniel's greatest legacy wasn't just wealth, it was wisdom. He taught his children the same principles. Live below your means, invest wisely, think long term. Because Daniel knew true wealth isn't just money, it's security, it is freedom, it is creating something that lasts beyond your lifetime. So, my dear listeners, these are the lessons and morals from Daniel's story. Wealth starts with discipline, not income. It's not about how much you earn, but how much you keep. Knowledge is power. Before Daniel invested money, he invested in learning. Crises aren't the end, they are opportunities. While others panicked, Daniel stayed calm and profited. Multiple income streams bring true freedom. Never rely on one paycheck. Staying rich requires rules. Without boundaries, wealth slips through your fingers. And lastly, real wealth is generational. Pass down habits, not just money. And that, my friends, is Daniel's journey. From a boy who grew up in scarcity to a man who built lasting security. His story reminds us all that getting rich is possible, but staying rich, that is an art. If you found Daniel's story inspiring, don't forget to subscribe to Wealth Stories with Ama for more powerful stories and timeless lessons that can shape your financial future. Because remember, stories changes how we think, and how we think changes how we live.